inside in the mosque, there is a huge distinction between Egyptian. There's a huge distinction between Egyptian Muslims who you will feel the love and feel the spirit. With the Egyptian Muslims, you would. It's rare that you will find an Egyptian Muslim that will say that he is not black. You know what I mean? And so, but there's a huge distinction between them and then those those people from Jordan or Lebanon or all of them. So them, those lighter complected. They swear that they are some like a different breed of people.
And that's major too, because so boarding school is also an eye opener for me as well. I mean, as a brother growing up in Brooklyn, all of my friends were always of a darker complexion than me, and then me always being lighter. Like, it's interesting. I never really looked in the mirror as a kid. I never paid attention to my complexion. I just knew that culturally I was a black man. I could see it in my family because then my uncle, who's my mom's brother, is Zion's complexion. So both of my first cousins are both Zion's complexion.
That means he's deep sea purple.
So they're there. So seeing that, I'm like, I'm a brother. People thought me coming into this boarding school, being of a lighter complexion, that I now was going to change. And I was going to be this, get on my high horse, I'm rolling with the hunkies. Just do that.
Right.
No. And the white people there made sure that they know. No, they made sure to let it be known. Oh yeah, he's black. Those girls, and I had the issue at a point, and then I realized I should never go towards them in the first place. I tried to talk to a couple. Never gave me no love. They would literally talk to somebody from my class like the day after. Give me not a pass, just to make it known, like, nah, I can't mess with you. But it was also the social class part too. They understand that. Once they understand that you there on financial aid, they know that you're not one of them. And I was like, okay, I see now. I see now, so I get it. But it was just quite interesting to see that just growing up, because always as a lighter complexion, growing up in New York, besides the fact of being called Dominican, a lot of people be like, well, you light skinned. This is the light skin code. This is how things go. Right. Once you in the room with the white people, they distinguish you, and it's also my hair. Everything shows.
What year you born?
I was born 90.
Oh, you was at the point where Albie Shaw and them was phasing out.
Yeah, I was born 1990. Yeah, I'm 28. I'm 28.
Yeah, you see, brother Hugh probably got some of the light skin love. You know what I mean?
He got some of it.
Yeah, no.
He almost got freckles.
Brother Hugh. So when you were in the mosque, you said sometimes you were toe to toe with certain people, and you would notice that they would move their toes over. And so this is actually something like, if you, let's say a good Sunni Muslim, right? You're a good Sunni Muslim, and I'm a good Sunni Muslim, but let's say you were a little whiter, let's put it like that. Would I be able to go, even though we worship in the same mosque? Can I go and ask for your daughter for marriage?
Absolutely not. And so the brothers who are in Islam, it is my path that I thoroughly embrace, that I accept from the Most High, is to awaken our brothers that are in the masjid and say what the scripture says, return back to your Torah. This phenomenon is one that they experience on a daily basis. And if they're honest with themselves, there's no way they wouldn't be. I'm going to speak to their pain. I'm going to speak to their emotions behind that. In the mosque, no, you cannot go and ask for a Persian so-called Muslim or a Lebanese so-called Muslim, or definitely not no Saudi, the converted Saudi's daughters. Absolutely not. You're only brothers for the sake of purchasing at their stores. They do not live in our communities. They don't want to live in our communities. You can look at Dearborn, Michigan is a perfect example of that. They can't stand, and I'm speaking because I was in Dearborn for the Muslim convention. It was it was the saddest experience that I've ever experienced. And it's because the white supremacy is prevalent. And again, it's my desire to wake up the Muslims that are in the masjid and say what the Quran tells them to do, what the Most High has told them to do, go back to their Torah. That's my specific path, and that I embrace. You cannot ask for. The white supremacy is prevalent in the masjid, and no, they would not want to pray next to you. And the mosques are segregated.
I was going to say something about the mosques too before you go into, because it is customary that when you pray, they say that you should always stand shoulder to shoulder and foot to foot, so that the devil does not, interfere with your prayer and your worship.
Right.
So it is customary and it is stated that you pray that way. So for someone to move their foot away from you is a symbol of
in other words, I'm willing to
disrespect.
allow the devil
Yes.
in before I let you in.
Absolutely.
Yes. So when you were praying at my house,
Absolutely.
they move. They will stand
They
with
would
their
stand
feet wide
toe to toe,
open
right next
if
to
your
you.
foot is very far away, just
Right.
so they
To
can make
close the
sure
gap.
they pray to close any gaps
That's
in,
right.
in between.
That's
And
right.
so, that phenomenon, it's
powerful.
the saddest thing. These people are willing to allow shaitan to interfere or to even have space. The concept is to not even have
Not
room
space,
for
yeah.
shaitan in the masjid.
While you pray.
But and definitely during prayer, even when you're sitting, listening to the khutbah, this is one of those things where you don't want to have no room for shaitan to occupy any space. But these mosques are segregated off top. And then there is the camaraderie that they're talking about. It's like, I want to say two things here, because now that I'm in the Torah, and that is my primary source, that is my only path to the Most High, that's my obligation. This concept of the Most High pouring out His Spirit upon His people. The gauge or the litmus test when I'm, colliding with someone is to see if you can feel their spirit. And usually with Israelites, even good or bad, you can feel their soul. You can feel it. When you're in the mosque, it's when you're dealing with, and it's not a preconceived idea, because I embraced Islam wholeheartedly for the brotherhood.
For 10
and
years, right?
It's been going on 20
20,
now,
I'm sorry,
since
20
2000. It was just heartbreaking, and then the anger set in, and then the disappointment, because all of the ummah that they're talking about, it doesn't exist with the ones here in America. You know what I mean? So, because they'll be quick to make the distinction between, if you're over here in Africa, it's different. But I don't see no difference. Because in Libya, they're having, they're enslaving black people. Right. In Morocco, it's all the same. It's and so so now, no, you cannot. To answer your question again, and I repeat, for all the brothers who will be listening to this, you are aware, that I shared your pain, your emotion, your feelings behind that. We are aware that there's white supremacy, and it's huge inside the masjid. It's huge in Islam, and these are facts behind that. And last but not least, I had an argument with a converted Arab online, and he said, and they call you abd, they will call you a slave. You go into they were speaking in Arabic, they will call you a slave, right when you are, when you're purchasing stuff. They do not like us, period. And this is why you don't see any dawah. You don't see these people out trying to give dawah. We embrace it when we get locked up, or we embrace it because one of our old uncles who was cool had a different path, like he was a Muslim. There's a respect that comes along with it. And that's where the Nation of Islam is far superior for black men than Sunni Islam is here in America.
That's interesting, because do you think that the way that they think is because of Western influence?
Yeah, well, I'm split on that.
Because, and what I mean is, you know, they see the same TV shows that we look at over here in some of those countries. Because it can't, because hypothetically speaking, and just, if you have a group of Caucasian children,
Right.
and you have a group of black children in a room, and they never had any influence from the outside, the most people would do is maybe rub your skin to see if it's real.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, is your skin really real? But to interact as people, you know, you will begin to interact. And race, we will be maybe more tribal,
Right.
but not racially bound if it wasn't for that influence.
I think that I think that the Western media is maybe 40%, but 60% was culture. See, this is why they could not. This is why they did not accept Muhammad anyway. He came as a black man. The first companion of Muhammad was
Abu Bakr.
not Abu Bakr, Bilal. The first Bilal, the slave, and Bilal was from the same Qurayshi tribe as Muhammad, who they identify as tar black. But somehow, Bilal,
Used to call him tar
Bilal was tar black. But somehow they make Muhammad this light-skinned guy. But the reason he freed him was because they were from the same tribe. When Muhammad died, they killed off his descendants. The white supremacy was there before our Western televisions were here.
Right.
And so I would say 40% for those who want to be Americanized, it's going to just enhance what they already felt in the first place.